Shout echoes heavy, sharp as a fight. Alan steady with the facts, sharp and true. Fuji's fire breaks the calm, splits it in two. Pattison Ave, where the wild hearts run. Talking sports, games, battles, lost and won. Voices rise, break chains, ignite the flame. Fanatic thunder echoing the name.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Pattison Ave Phanatics Show. I'm your host, Tom Kelly. With me, as always, Alan and Cabbage.
What is up, gentlemen? Welcome back. I know we took a few weeks there to recoup and let things calm down and settle up. And here we are, spring training. Spring training.
The potty mouth Mike Fuji in the building.
What is up? It's been a long hiatus. The Fightins are back in Clearwater. How's everybody doing? Frank Close, Nick Earnshaw in the building tonight. What is going on, fellas?
Love the energy, food.
Another good Monday, brother.
Got the got the original cast back in action here. Couple things I wanted to get into before we get into the show. There's been a lot going on over here at Cole County Entertainment as of late. There's been new shows added. A couple of them, you see the same three faces you see here for sure. We have a men's mental health show. It's a strong and silent men's mental health show, and we are just over the moon with the response that we are getting from that show. That show actually originated post-show and pre-show of the Pattison Ave Phanatics Show. There's also a music show called No Skips with my co-host Jess and myself. Thursday nights, 8 o'clock is when we're looking to bring that to you guys. We just had our first live episode last week. Some great feedback on that, so be on the lookout for that. We have the 27 Club coming up this week, where it's a bunch of artists that were gone before their time, and we'll kind of break it down and get into that. Talk about all that stuff. Of course, we have our show with these fine-looking gentlemen who all have the same AI-generated teeth in their face. Pattison Ave Phanatics Show.
Same thumbs up, the whole nine. Yeah.
Every Monday at 8, you can catch our ugly mugs. We have teamed up with Goose Pond Media. They're John Geese and our buddy Ken over there at Goose Pond Media. We're going to be bringing some shows to you from those guys, teaming up with them. Ken's Coffee Shop just aired yesterday, its first episode, getting very big responses here on the network. Of course, I cannot forget about our boy Ryan Neff. Ryan has early evening sports buffet with the Ginch. Ryan does a ton of stuff. He just did a live show yesterday from Goose's Cigar Shop. It was an awesome Daytona 500 live show that Ryan does. Ryan also has Four Down Territory. He has a bunch of other shows that, Student Body Right. He has a bunch of stuff going on with the network. With us, we love Ryan over here for sure. So I just want to kind of give everybody a rundown of some of the new stuff that we have going on here. It's an exciting time here at Cole County Entertainment, and we're just we're happy to be teaming up with everybody that we're teaming up with for sure. So be on the lookout for more stuff. We're going to be much more out there. So like I said, be on the lookout for that. I know Alan's working on a new show. We'll keep the contents or what it's going to be about under wraps for now, but be on the lookout for that as well.
Yes, absolutely. Can't wait.
I don't think we've talked since the Super Bowl, have we?
No, I don't think so. Right before the Super Bowl, I think.
Right. So what was everybody's take on the Super Bowl this year? I know we're
Snooze-fest.
Yeah, it was a snooze fest in my opinion too.
Yeah. Compared to last year, I mean, where we just blew out. It was just total domination and just moving the ball. This was very defensive, methodical football. And I guess Seattle had the best defense, man. Sometimes, those games are boring.
They can be. Well, I mean, that was probably the biggest snooze fest in the year after the Eagles won when the Patriots beat the Rams.
Yeah. Patriots. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. That was Tom's last one there in New England, right?
Yeah, what was that? Was that 57? 3? Was it? Oh, was that why? It was that long ago?
Yeah, 53, right after. Yeah, because we beat him, and then he went back on his last one, and then a couple years later he got his next one in Tampa, right? And then that was his last. Then that was his last one.
Yeah.
You know that one in Tampa too chaps my ass because I went out and I said Tom Brady will be nothing without Bill Belichick. I could have sworn it was Uncle Bill.
Around.
It was Uncle Bill, but it was the other way around, man. Tom Brady
big time
goes down to Tampa and wins a seventh ring.
Yeah.
As if I couldn't dislike that human being anymore.
Right.
You had to prove me wrong, which nobody likes to be proven wrong.
Well, I remember they interviewed Brady a couple years later, and he said when he was watching film, he could just pick Kansas City's defense apart even before, like he knew what they were going to do.
He said that was his superpower.
Right.
He said it was his superpower to be able to do that. Hopping in the green room right now is our first guest, Mr. Frank Close. Frank, thank you so much for jumping on with us. Welcome on to the Pattison Ave Phanatics Show.
Appreciate it. Good to talk to you guys.
Hey,
I'm doing
Frank,
great.
how
How
are
about
you?
all you?
Good. We're ready for some baseball, Frank.
I don't care about the baseball. I just want to be in Clearwater right now.
Yeah,
So
let's
I'm
all
like,
go.
I mean,
That one.
once they all report that, I'm like really, really eager to get down there and get some Florida sun and some warmth. So that comes first in all this for me. So I can't wait to be there.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
We appreciate it very much. Frank, let's get right into it. If you could maybe give us some insight into this Nick Castellanos fiasco that's been going on. What exactly happened for people that haven't been paying attention? It almost seemed unreal to me.
Well, which part is unreal? The beer in the dugout thing, or look, I think. See, the Phillies are good about not saying anything, and I think his teammates, from my perspective, I feel like his teammates regularly, maybe not all the time, but there were many occasions where they had to rein him in. It seemed like there was a clear disrespect for his manager, for his hitting coach. I almost feel like his ego won't let him deal very well with batting seventh, for example, or being treated like he's not a superstar or had things to work on, that the hitting coach might have been able to help him, iron out, because let's face it, he had some good moments in his Phillies career, and other times he had some pretty rough slumps. I mean, that's how his Phillies career started, was a big slump, right? If you remember that, and then did make an all-star game by starting out strong the second year. But, I just think that he is not someone eager to adapt to his aging game, I guess. I think he felt he was still that first round pick superstar, and while I'll say this, the thing that really put the alarm bells off in my head was when the first time, and this was something probably a couple of years ago, that he basically said, "Oh yeah, Rob Thompson doesn't communicate well." Well, my experience around everybody is that's his big strong suit. Is he's really good about telling people what's going on. I mean, now the other half of that is they might not like what he has to say, but I think that for a lot of the players, they kind of knew where they stood. They knew when it was their turn to play. I mean, especially like the role players on the team. You want to know what type of situation you'll be used. I mean, clearly, like like an Edmundo Sosa was like, okay, yeah, well, if you're facing a lefty, you're probably going to be starting that day, right? So you kind of get into your groove, and I think he really did well and maximized the bench, like the Sosas, and I mean, fill in the blank, all of them. Even over the years, the Weston Wilsons, who you got a game with a cycle out of, he kept them ready to go because they kind of knew exactly what situation they went in. And those of us that watch the games all the time, I mean, when it came to the bullpen, like I could tell exactly who's coming in next. Why? Because you learn those patterns, and he was really good at telling those relievers what their situation was, what hitters they're going to face next. Who, or even before a series, like these are the ones that we're probably going to look at you for. Maybe it'd be Alvarado gets the latest inning where he faced these lefties, but Tanner Banks, you have the one before that. And so it became pretty clear what the roles are. Now Nick Castellanos, I thought Rob Thompson gave him a lot of extra room there. I thought he should have been pulled for defense more regularly. I mean, at least the metrics have said that he's the worst outfielder in baseball. Maybe only a little bit better than some guy named Kyle Schwarber, who, of course, is already the full-time DH, which is fine. I mean, by the way, I like that about Schwarber. He always knew that he had something to work on there. Like, he didn't take it personally if somebody, suggested he work on something. But I just think that the way Castellanos is, the relationship had soured over time. Phillies, Todd Zalecki had said, tried to trade him. This is the third offseason in a row. Couldn't find takers. So it was just inevitable at this point. And to think that it was all about one dugout incident in Miami, which, by the way, if you go back and watch that game, you can hear him shouting in the dugout after he was removed. And then there's like this creepy silence in the broadcast. And then I think John Kruk eventually is like, oh, sounds like someone's yelling down there. Right. they knew who it was. They're not going to call him out. But, I just think too much.
Frank,
Go ahead, Fuchs.
Frank, I was going to ask you. I mean, this Phillies baseball team regressed over 4 years now. As you were saying, the Phillies like to keep everything in house. Now, do you think over those 4 years Nick Castellanos was here, I mean, there was tension in this locker room that they just hid very well?
Yeah, I think that it was hidden very well. I think that, and when we say tension, I mean, I think you had enough veteran types that really set the tone there that it really didn't affect a whole lot. I think they were good at reeling him in. I mean, they don't dislike him, and it's not like he doesn't have friends there, right? But yeah, I mean, Rob Thompson's not going to come out and talk bad about anybody, and the only reason why Nick brought up the beer thing was that it was about to end up in the media. In fact, his now former teammates seemed to have tipped him off that it was coming. But yeah, there was a lot that kept under wraps, and to think that all of a sudden it just blew up, or all of a sudden the Phillies just bungled this too. I don't know that that's a fair assessment either, because nobody wanted to trade for him after 23. Nobody wanted to trade for him after 24, and now after 25, it sounds like the Yankees might have been willing to take him on and trade a little something maybe, and then the more they dug into it, they just said, nah, it's probably not a good idea. And then they went and re-signed Paul Goldschmidt instead. So after and I don't blame the Phillies. If they had a shot to trade him to somebody, then it means they're right? I mean, they're the ones that are in control of the contract. They're the ones that are going to pay almost $20 million for him not to play there this year. So that's their right to try to trade him. And then once the Yankees thing fell through, I think that his market was completely gone. And following around the league, the Padres were said to maybe pick up somebody who was on the cheap, maybe someone who got released. They were not looking to pay anything to add at first base, maybe a platoon hitter at first base, which is kind of where he profiles at the moment in San Diego anyway. So hopefully for his sake, he maybe the situation's been humbling and he'll accept it there. But I don't think that the Phillies, if they say, well, yeah, we got Garcia in right and you're going to now platoon with Brandon Marsh in left, I just don't see him accepting that.
Right. With a fan base that's it was built on teams like the '93 Phillies. I don't think a player having a beer in the dugout would be the greatest issue for this fan base, but it seemed like it was just one more cog in the wheel that eventually rolled him out of here.
Yeah, and it's just the attitude that came with it, right? I mean, it was like, okay, you took me out. Oh, time for a beer, time to party. Like this game's not of interest to me anymore because I'm out of it. I mean, that's not cool.
Yeah. That's not
should,
being part of the squad, part of the team.
Yeah, quite honestly, as the guy that was a utility type and maybe came in once in a while like that, I mean, I loved it if the starter had my back. I mean. I forget who brought it up. I mean, I think it was someone on the Philly show, one of the Amaro, Zalecki, or Salisbury group. Someone was like, yeah, I mean, you never heard Pat Burrell complain when every time Eric Bruntlett came out to finish out a game in left field, right? I mean, it's just, a game of egos. I've always believed you got to know yourself, know what you do well, know what you don't do as well. And I think a real good team is happy to let somebody else come in and do what they do best, even if it's just a little bit of defense. You're the one that's getting the big paycheck. You're the one who's in the starting lineup every day. And you should be, in my opinion, you should be encouraging those around you to get the opportunity.
Frank, you being in the Philly media or the media for the Phillies, now were you in the locker room like after every game last season?
No, I the last few years I haven't gotten to do much. My dad was ill and dying, and then he passed away.
Sorry.
That's okay. And it's just been a whirlwind the last few years. So I was in there a lot more before his era, but nothing I would personally see.
But other like fellow media personnel, like nobody ever would see any tension between Nick and so many other guys, or was it just pretty much business as usual?
I think there was some with the media. I mean, I think they got to know kind of his personality, and I mean, if you see it with with the other media members, you probably have an idea that just who he is in some ways. I mean, I think there was some tension behind the scenes too. But
I remember he went off with Jim Salisbury a year or two ago.
Yeah,
maybe 2 years.
Yeah, there were a few instances like that, and today I was just in one of my sports media classes I was teaching, just talking about interviewing, right? I mean, just he was a good topic of conversation. I mean, when you do the interviews, it's you still need the receptive person on the other side. It's good to ask tough questions, but you have to agree at least on what the topic is, and some days it seemed like he wouldn't agree to any topic.
Right. Well, Frank, I got a question for you. How do you think Wheeler's progressing? I heard something like today that he's thrown about 90 feet. I don't know the velocity in that matter, but I don't know if he'll be ready for opening day. But how do you view his progress, and where do you think Wheeler can make a difference this season?
Yeah, well, it sounds like he will not be ready for opening day. He is down in Clearwater. He is throwing. I don't think they've gotten to the point where he's pitched to check his velocity or anything. He's mainly just throwing. So kind of the plan is to take it easy a little bit, and he'll be a few weeks to a month behind everybody else, which I think is fine. You want the if he's got any innings reduced in that arm because of what he went through this offseason, you'd rather those innings not be at the front rather than the back. You want him down the stretch. I mean, they did okay without him. Good for them, this past offseason. But certainly it would have been even better if he was there. So I think they would love to have him and Chris Sanchez at the top of a playoff rotation heading into next year. So yeah, it seems like they're taking their time, being cautious, and we'll see when he gets to really throw, and he hasn't really pitched yet. So throwing, yes, getting the arm motion back a little bit, but he's not like pitching. So he's going to take it easy.
Right. Speaking of this pitching staff as a whole, Frank, what are your thoughts? I know we're very early in the spring training here, but what are your thoughts on? We have guys coming back. What are your thoughts on our pitching staff as currently constructed?
So if we're talking rotation, I think they're a little thin. If you do some counting now without Zach Wheeler, you got Chris Sanchez, which is great to have as an ace. Jesus Luzardo's probably in the 2 slot. Really nice number 2, right? I think he's been tremendous. He had those few blowups last year. If you take those couple starts away, man, he was something. Aaron Nola then is your number 3, which makes you say, okay, well, what are we getting with him between the injury and the inconsistency last year? Who's he going to be? So I think that is a real question mark because you don't totally know who he is yet. We'll see how he does throughout the course of spring training and how he looks. But he's kind of your number 3, and then you get to 4 and 5, and you know what? I really liked for the Phillies having Taijuan Walker last year because he grabbed the ball when they needed it. Like he was, he didn't complain. He did okay in the bullpen sometimes when he was thrown out there, and the other times he had to jump in the rotation. With Nola out and then with Wheeler out too, they needed him to start, and I thought he performed admirably as that swing guy. Now, if he's your number 4 now, well, then you lost your swing guy too. So that makes me a little nervous. And then number 5, kind of, it seems like it's Andrew Painter, but Andrew Painter last year. They let him basically show them what he could do and write his own ticket to the major leagues, but he didn't exactly get there on his own volition, right? Because he had no real command. Now, I think that the good news is with Painter is his velocity came back after that Tommy John, which is a good sign. Then you can work on the command. But he did not end the year last year as a guy thrown with some commands, and I think he still needs to show that he can have that command, right? I would have strongly preferred that there was another starter around that they could at least be like, hey, Painter, Walker, let's see who's going to win the 5th starter job. I think that would be a little bit better because now you get beyond those 5. Your next. Let's just say, man, Painter, he's just all over the place, and you think, oh man, I can't put him in the starting rotation. Well, then now Alan Ronhill is your number 5, right? I mean, beyond that. Bryce Wilson, anybody? Does that excite anybody? AAA depth that maybe could make a spot start. I mean, that's to me that's not a lot of depth. And whereas like last year this time, it was like, man, this starting rotation that by accident they're going to win 90 games.
Right
now that's a little bit of a worry spot. However, I do think the bullpen's pretty good this year. I think that they've got with Duran there from the start. You got your closer that's in place from the beginning.
It's huge.
I mean, last year they were still. It was like, okay, maybe Alvarado against the lefties and Romano against the righties, and then of course Romano ended up falling off the face of the earth, and Alvarado got suspended. And like, man, that was rough going for a while. I remember saying on the air, like, yep, Phillies will probably get somebody at the deadline, but between now and then, they're probably gonna lose some games that they should have won. Right now, you feel really good about Duran being there from the start. Alvarado's back. All indications are he's looking okay. Tanner Banks was another great lefty, and then on the right side, adding Brad Keller, I think is a huge. I think he's kind of an under the radar signing. I mean, they basically moved on from Matt Strom to sign Keller. That's what they spent the money on, and then a few extra bucks because Keller was. If you look at his numbers from like the second half last year, he was just unhittable. And so, I think they've got a really dominant arm from the right side. Alvarado is again not as your closer, but a tough arm from the left side, and with Banks. And you know what? Ryan Kerkering, we all know how the season ended. I don't blame him for why they lost. I mean, the offense could have done a little bit more, but you know what? If he's still very talented, he's still very young, and you know what? The fact that there's another layer between him and Duran from the right side, I think that's just going to make Kerkering get a lot of confidence next year because he will get some late innings. He might even get a couple save opportunities, right? Because your relievers, you get your days off if you pitch a couple days in a row. But I still think very highly of Kerkering. So you're like you got your lockdown closer, and then you're 2 deep on each the left and the right side below the closer. You got to be feeling really good about that. Now the other 3 spots, that a lot of that's left to be seen, but. Yeah, it's just I feel a lot better with the starting rotation having one more arm, just because last year we saw, and the year before that, you saw what a difference it made when your bullpen isn't having to come in after 3 2/3 because your starter got blown up, and that just has not been the story of the Phillies. If Alan Ronhill's pitching every 5th day, well then no offense against Alan Ronhill, but I don't think he's anywhere in the league with those other guys they got there.
All right. Now they get the young prospect kid. I don't know if that's a possibility. The Curette. I don't know if I'm saying his name correct. Curette.
Still a ways away. I don't think there's any impact like prospect. At least last year, Mick Abel, you knew he was kind of hanging around and might be able to come up and get, and he did. In fact, he pitched his way into trade to the Twins, and now we'll see. I'm seeing what he does next year for the Twins from afar. But yeah, I mean the Phillies have a couple arms in the system, but none of them are like the type that'll jump in anytime immediately, I think.
Frank, is there a chance that Walker Buehler could come back?
From what I heard, he wants more of a guarantee, and I don't know that the Phillies can guarantee him anything. I think they want to at least leave the door for a painter to show that he belongs. But if anybody you sign to be a starter, you're kind of being put up against Painter, right? Because again, Walker, ideally the swing guy, but you know what? He's in a way he's holding a place for Zach Wheeler. So I mean, I think that shows they have a lot of confidence that Wheeler won't be out too long.
Right.
But Buehler, I think he's, from what I've heard, he wants to kind of go and see where there's going to be an opening. Maybe there's an injury or something somewhere, and I think he wants a guarantee that he's going to pitch.
Right.
Gotcha. Well, Frank, before we let you go, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking for the Phils this year? I know we're so early in the training camp and so many different things could happen, but the team's currently constructed. How are your expectations, I should say, for this season?
It depends on what you mean. Do you mean win total, or do you mean, I always hesitate to say something at the beginning of the year because usually there's a reset at the trade deadline, right? So, obviously last year, I know around baseball, people thought the Phillies won the trade deadline almost because they got Duran, right? They got the big piece there that they needed. Right. To me, the story is going to be around, are any of these right-handed bats going to step up? I mean, you're looking at Garcia. They see, to me, the biggest problem has been and remains that you don't have a right-handed bat to hit behind. Come on, Michael.
Trying to throw that one up there.
Michael, come on now.
78-84.
That is well.
All right. Put it this way: by accident, they will win 90 games. Just my point from last year, right? They're not exponentially worse than last year. The Mets got better, which is true, but they're going to be without Lindor at the beginning, so that's kind of negated a little bit. And the Braves, they're going to get, they're going to have a healthy Acuna and Strider. I don't think they did a lot to really inspire much confidence. In fact, their big signing was a guy that's already injured and out for 6 months. I don't even remember the exact timeline, but I don't think the Braves are, if you're talking total number of wins, if that's how you're measuring it, I could say that the Phillies are going to end up being better than last year at the end of the year if they get that right-handed bat worked out.
Yep.
But they might have a couple fewer wins because the other teams in the division are a little bit better. So,
a little bit better, right.
I mean, I think it's going to be a matter of who is suited best for the postseason. And so, to me, the one thing that they didn't have in the postseason was just that right-handed bat behind Schwarber and Harper. Harper saw next to nothing that he could hit. So, the story is going to be who is that number 4 hitter that kind of gets there behind the Schwarber and Harper bats.
Right.
If he solves that at the trade deadline, and I'm feeling pretty good about this. I mean, even if the back of the rotation is weak, we saw that a few years ago. You just go to the postseason with your best 3-4 starters, and you're good.
There you go.
So they are thinner in that, but hey, you know what? A lot could happen. Painter could step up and be working towards that ace like everybody thought. Aaron Nola could rebound nicely. He could be really good again, or maybe somewhere in the middle. I mean, there's a lot that has to play out. But in terms of where they are in relation to the rest of the division, I think I still like the Phillies,
Okay.
especially with Lindor out a little bit. And
Right.
it's by the way, good for the Mets, because what they had going on was not working, and they had to really, I think on the surface it seems like, oh man, they lost Alonso, they lost. They lost Nimmo. They lost. Just go down the list of all the players that moved on. I think they had to shake things up there a little bit. So I think good for them that they were willing to make that bold move. But I still think they got a lot of deficiencies up in New York. There certainly they lost Diaz, and they got another closer in Williams, not as good. So anyway, I think the Phillies are good to win the division. I think that will work out fine. But the story here is going to be all about how they head into the postseason, right? So,
All right.
So you know what, Adolis Garcia, he was very, very good in 23. Does he have any of that left? I don't know. If he's got it. I mean, Brian De La Cruz could end up stepping up and being a platoon bat with Marsh, and they could have a nice left field. I'm interested in seeing how that goes. But trade deadline. I mean, that could be what ends up. And again, there's always injuries. We don't know who's going to have an injury. Philly, someone else. I that's why you want depth. So, but I think the Phillies will remain as they were in this offseason, looking for that right-handed bat. That seems to be the elusive thing, and the thing kind of keeping the way up. But by the way, I will say this before we conclude: the Phillies outscored the Dodgers in that series. A little overlooked fact. And I know Jason Stark, of course, the national baseball writer for the Athletic, who was very well respected. After all that, he was like, man, the Dodgers were like really glad to be able to get by the Phillies. It was pretty close, a lot of them, right? I mean, but again, the Phillies did outscore the Dodgers overall.
Right.
Yes, they did. All right, Frank, thank you so much for jumping on with us. We greatly appreciate your time.
Yeah, happy to do so, and say hi to Nick for me.
Okay. You got it.
He's actually in the green room.
Yes, he is. See you, Frank.
Right,
Thanks again, Frank. Have a good one.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
Speaking of the green room, we're bringing our friend of the show, Nick Earnshaw. It's the second go-around on the Pattison Ave Phanatics. Nick, how are you, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Like, I get an extra Frank's mailbag? Like, this is fantastic on a Monday night. That was awesome.
How are you?
Good. By the way, he says hello. How are you?
I already heard him sitting in the green room.
I heard him. How are you guys? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I apologize. My energy isn't all the way up. I'm battling a little bit of a cold out right now.
You're all good.
Couldn't even tell, brother.
You're just coming back from the Super Bowl last week.
Yeah. How was Radio Row?
Yeah, no, it was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it was a good time. I'll tell you what, I forgot there was a game. Totally forgot there was a game going on out that old zero. I'm seeing your social media. You're taking pictures of Barry Sanders and Gary V. Like, I mean, you guys are living it up. Yeah, it was crazy. So my job out there was like wearing a bunch of different hats, right? So I was like a runner, trying to book guests, doing a little social media, jumping on the air, helping produce everything, making sure all the equipment was right. So Mike brings me out there because he's like, hopefully nothing goes wrong, and you could just go fix it, Nick. Nick, just go fix it. All right. So it was a great time for sure. Exhausting week, but really rewarding week, to say the least. And I appreciate Mike Gill always bringing me out there. It's the second year I got to go out there, so it was a good time.
That's always a great show, you guys. Was that your first time at Radio Row?
Second, yeah, it was my second year. Okay. I went last year as well. Last year was my first go around. So this year I kind of have an idea of like what to do this year. Last year I was like, this is new to me, and then now I kind of have a little bit of experience. And we had a great couple of shows out there with Gil and the Sports Bash. We had Scott Grace from Fox 29. He joined us out there. Alex Berardis, another 97.3 ESPN producer, and Billy Schweim. So we had a good crew out there. And we had some fun, and we got to talk to a bunch of Eagles too, because there was a bunch of Eagles walking around too.
Right. So, did you have any oh my God, I can't believe I'm talking to this guy or booking this guy? Or did you have any of these moments? I'm sure you must have. And if so, what was probably your biggest, like, holy crap, I can't believe I'm talking to this guy?
I think it was Barry, man. It had to be Barry Sanders, because there is a funny story with how that all went down. Okay, so we were set up right next to the Detroit Free Press, and he had done an interview with them in the morning on Friday, and we had talked. I talked to their PR person, Barry's PR person, I should say. And we're trying to get him on. I was like, they're like, maybe we'll see if we can fit him in the schedule, etc. Because what they do is on Radio Row is they go from show to show to show, podcast, TV, radio, whatever. They're booked up like as they get there. So you're just trying to see if you could squeeze in a few minutes with us little guys from 97.3. So we're just like, hey, can we get him on maybe for like 5-10 minutes ish? And she was like, okay, yeah, let me see if I'll take your contact info, etc. We'll try and get him on. However, so I kept, kind of badgering a little bit. Hey, can we still figure something out? And they end up coming back to that table. And the Detroit Free Press had left. So we had a little bit more space to set our stuff up, which was nice. It was very tight this year with all the media setups. But he had left his jacket. They come back looking for his jacket, and I had picked it up, not knowing it was Barry Sanders. I thought it was the Detroit Free Press, someone from there.
Oh, wow.
So we just kind of had it sitting on like one of our chairs just in case anyone came back looking for it. So his handlers come back. Did you guys see Barry's jacket? Mike Gill goes, this jacket? And they're like, well, we'll give you something, for finding it for us. We're like, no. How about Barry Sanders? That's what Mike
Right.
Wrong with that.
So we'll work on something. They came through. He comes over. I did a couple of minutes with Mike. We got him on the show. And his PR person comes up behind me while he's on the air and says, the jacket definitely put you over the top, I'll tell you.
That's so great.
Oh, perfect. That's awesome.
The way it worked out, you couldn't even make it up. You couldn't write a better script.
That's so cool. Did you get a chance now? Now, I'm a huge fan of this, guys. I saw your picture with Gary Vee. Did you get a chance to talk to him for a minute or two, or was it just more just grab a picture with him?
Very briefly. I've watched his content for, I guess, 5, 6, 7 years now. Going back to college. And just said, we had a quick conversation, and he just said, hey, keep going. We grabbed the picture, and he's like running around all Radio Row. So we had a very brief, probably 2-minute conversation, which was pretty cool. Just thanked him for all he does and a lot of positivity he puts out there.
He really does. We got Ryan Neff. I just popped in to say Philly Sports Bites. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for tuning in. Get him out here.
Don't listen to that fraud.
Oh, man.
So now you guys were down there for Radio Row. You don't get a chance to go to the game, do you, I assume?
No, so a lot of the media is out by Friday. So the way it worked is I got there a little early. I wanted to go to opening night, went to opening night, which was a little lighter than usual, to say the least, this year. So I was out there Monday. Mike came out Tuesday afternoon-ish, so we could get everything set up. I was there getting everything ready to go. Most of the media is there, I would say, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, morning on Friday, and then most of the media is out because you're getting all your interviews during the week for the most part leading up to the game itself. So now I took a red eye Friday night into Saturday morning. Had a couple of adult beverages before we boarded the plane and came back into snow. So that was fantastic.
There you go, man.
That's awesome. That's how you got to do it.
My type of flight.
Absolutely.
So I've also seen that you've done some stuff recently with the Fanatic as well. What are you transitioning to up there, or are you doing both? How's all that working out?
Yeah.
So I will say this, as a broadcaster and in the media world, I have zero life, to say the least. I'm between both right now. I do some part-time stuff with them. Doing some nights, doing some Sixers games. I'll be hosting Sixers All Access on Saturday. So just doing a little bit of both right now and getting my feet wet in everywhere I can. So having a good time, producing, doing a little bit of everything up there at the Fanatic. It started. So, yeah, been there a couple months.
Nice. Guys like us who do stuff like this, we watch guys like you, and we're like, man, that's got to be
living
great.
vicariously through you,
However,
through your eyes.
I know people just, for the most part, don't understand what it takes to actually be someone in that business, to get into it, and then to actually, get some traction. And it's got to be, like you said, you just got to have no life, I assume.
Yeah, listen, I love it or I wouldn't do it. Like, I knew what I was walking into. I went to school for it, went to Rowan. Shout out Neil Hartman and Derek Jones. They're very, very big inspirations for me and have helped me in my career tremendously. So I would say, yeah, like they kind of told me straight up. Leo Kirshner as well, very, very well respected in radio in Atlantic City. Too, for years. They told me kind of straight up, hey, like if this is what you want to do, go for it. And you're not gonna have a lot of weekends. You're not gonna have nights, right? When do games take place? When do shows take place? At night, on weekends. So my schedule's all over the place, but I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it. So just trying to get better every single day, taking every opportunity I can, and just having a good time. And I hope people enjoy the content that I'm a part of, and yeah, it's been crazy. It's been a crazy couple of years for sure.
We absolutely enjoy the content. We had Neil on a few months back. He was talking about the program and everything. He is the man.
September, October.
Yeah. So now that we've fanboyed with you about the Super Bowl, now let's jump into a little Eagles off season, if you will. So. Obviously the big glaring things, AJ Brown, our new OC. But one of the biggest things that kind of freaked me out was us losing, by all rights, the best offensive line coach in football. What are your thoughts on A, his replacement, and B, the hole that is going to be left behind?
Yeah, listen, this happened while we were out there. There was a lot of Eagles news going on while we were out in San Francisco. I think, it's going to sting that they're losing Jeff Stoutland because he's meant so much to this organization over the years. He has developed some tremendous offensive linemen. You can't replace that. I don't think people should expect that to be replaced. I am just very thrilled that they're going in a direction of bringing in some fresh voices, right? They've had to do that. They have run, and Devontae Smith said this at the end of the year in his final media availability after that debacle against the 49ers, which I attended and walked right out after that last play with Jalen. So I remember what Devontae said, and he said, we've been running the same stuff for like 3-4 years. Like, that's a problem. You have to evolve in the National Football.
I think he said the system's been the same since I got here.
Same exact thing, right? So you have to evolve. If you're in the National Football League, you can't just run the same thing over and over and over again. Don't think other teams are going to catch up. So I'm glad they're bringing in some new voices, some young, fresh faces. I hope Sirianni listens. I hope he allows Mannion to have a little bit of control. I know they brought in the guy from Tampa Bay. So, so I think that is conducive into saying, hey, we need to switch things up. And hopefully Jalen has the same coordinator for a couple of seasons here because, that is tough to do. And I'm a Jalen guy, but he did not have his best year this year. And anyone with eyes can see that. So I hope he gets some familiarity. He's able to stay here maybe hopefully 2 years because it seems like every other year either you get fired or someone goes on to become a head coach. That's what happens.
That's been the playbook so far. Yep.
So I'm hopeful. I'm glad they made a few changes. It needed to happen. Sirianni needs to, hey, be the CEO head coach. Let the offensive guys figure it out. Your offense worked in the past maybe a little bit. You need fresh blood in there. You need fresh ideas. You need fresh concepts, for goodness sake, with the offense, because there's no reason the most expensive offense in football should look like that and be towards the bottom of the barrel in most categories. Should.
I got one for you. Are we on the O-line? How worried should we be about Dickerson and Johnson retiring, possibly retiring? And leaving those gaps that's either one of them if they choose to. I mean, I wouldn't blame either one of them, especially Lane.
Especially
Lane. But yeah, I mean that's a huge gap if one of those guys choose that path.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Lane, it's going to be any day now, right? It feels like any year. If it's not this year, maybe next year, right? It's going to be any one of these years over probably the next two. I think you're going to see Lane retire. And I think if you look at the rest of the offensive line, Dickerson, remember, he had a lot of injury problems in college. So they knew what they were getting into. That's why he fell in the draft. So they knew what they were getting into with Dickerson. He battled a lot of injuries over the course of this year as well. Cam Jurgens, I don't know if you guys saw today, he had like some cell transplant type thing to help get his body right today or something. Yeah, so these guys were banged up pretty much the entire year. Dickerson's the one to watch because he's had such a long history of injuries going back to college. That'd be the guy to watch. Lane, we know it's going to happen at some point. You hope maybe you get one more year out of him here heading into this season. But we know the Eagles have built through their offensive line. They've won because they've built through the trenches on both sides of the ball. I think the draft, you're going to see a lot of offensive linemen taken early in this year's draft. I think that's going to happen for the Eagles because they have to, right? They need to, with the way that everything happened and went down this year with all the injuries on the O-line that caused so many problems. You couldn't even get your star running back Saquon Barkley going, and the run game was pitiful. I mean, that guy was getting hit in the backfield before he can even look up for the most part. So I think you're going to see them build through the trenches in the draft once again, and they have to.
Agreed. I do believe that you'll get a Cam Jurgens, Jason Kelsey. You might get a Lane Johnson heir apparent in this draft, which would make perfect sense.
Well, the rumor that came out was Shady McCoy said he talked to Lane Johnson, and Lane Johnson's already working out, saying he ain't going to retire.
Yeah, so I think we've all seen video.
That's true.
Yeah, I think we get one more year out of him. I think we get at least one more.
Nick, as far as the free agency with the Eagles now, Nakobe Dean, Reed Blankenship, just to name a few, Dallas Goedert. Now, who do you see the Eagles coveting to bring back? I mean, from your standpoint.
I would say, so we got to talk to Reed. We got to talk to Nakobe out at Radio Row. Nakobe is adamant. He is adamant about coming back. He's already said, he told us, he's already talked to Howie Roseman. He wants to be back. He wants to be an Eagle. It seems like Reed wants to be back. I don't know how likely that'll be. But Nakobe was very adamant. So I'm very curious to see how that all shakes out. Because will he get the offer he's looking for out on the market? We know this is a business. We know guys say they want to be back and all that. But he seemed really adamant. He was a little different than Reed. Like Reed, he said he wanted to be back. He loves Philadelphia, but you could always feel like, Reed might not be back. They might want to give Makuba a shot. They might want to give Sidney Brown a little bit more of a look, go through the draft again, etc. He's the guy I could see them moving on from. He might be a little too expensive. Nakobe Dean's interesting because they drafted Jahad Campbell, and he was great. When Nakobe was out, he played good football, and that's why they drafted him in the first round. So you kind of have the heir apparent there. However, if Nakobe doesn't get the deal he's looking for because of his injury history, right? Like he's gotten banged up a ton going back to college, also in the NFL. What does his market look like? And that's what I'm curious about. And if he'll take a little bit of a pay cut to come back to Philadelphia. So Nakobe's one I'm watching for because he was just so adamant and that he'd already talked to Howie that he wants to be back and wants to be here. But then again, it's a business. So I'm curious to see the market for Nakobe Dean based upon his injury history and how much he really wants to be back in Philadelphia. Now you bring up Dallas Goedert. He seemed to be the security blanket that kind of saved the Eagles offense for the most part all year last year.
Big time.
All of their tight ends are free agents. You're going to have to bring somebody back, right? And you have all these issues on the offensive line. You got to figure out the safety position in the draft. They got to find a way to bring Dallas Goedert back. I don't care who you are. He's got to come back. He plays such an integral role on the offense. I mean, he can block, he can catch, he can do everything you need.
Goes over the middle.
I think he hit most in receptions in Eagles franchise history.
He has. Yeah, he has the most in franchise history. So I would love to see Nakobe and Goddard back. I think Reed's the odd one out of those three that you give me. But we'll see how the money works. And the AJ Brown whole situation, we'll see how that shakes out. Do you believe him? Do you not believe him? He was very complimentary about Philadelphia on all these podcasts. Scott Grayson tried talking to him on Radio Row. He was doing no media other than the player podcast. So we'll see. Diana Rossini, we talked to her out there. She believes he is gone. She thinks he's going to be traded. And so do a lot of other reporters. So we'll see how it shakes out. They think during the combines when it's really going to start ramping up. That's been a lot of the reports.
I hope
he doesn't go anywhere.
Now Fuge, I know Fuge is basically packing AJ Brown's bags for him. I don't want to see this guy go.
I don't want to see him go anywhere.
I don't want him to go either. Why are you putting me?
I just mean that's your. I mean, okay. That's your opinion as to what's going to happen with him, I think.
I never said that about AJ Brown.
So you don't think, with Nick Earnshaw as our witness right now, you don't think that your thoughts aren't that AJ Brown's going anywhere?
Hey, that's how he's cool.
I
guess if you're getting the number one, it depends on the salary, right, Nick? Because isn't it like between post June 1st and pre June 1st something with money?
The money totally changes. Yeah. The money aspect. Yeah.
So what's going to happen is Nick Earnshaw is going to open his Facebook Messenger tomorrow morning, and it's going to be a video clip of Mike Fuji saying, "Pack his bags and get him out of here," because I know you friggin' said it, and I'm going to find it.
Well, first of all, who are you going to replace him with?
That's my thing. Remember, Jahan Dotson too.
Oh,
so
we all know Jahan Dotson can't hold a candle to AJ.
Oh, that's true. I know.
I thought Dotson was already out of here.
Well, he's a free agent.
He's a free agent. So,
he's sitting out there in limbo.
You're number one and you're number three. That's a problem. That's a big time problem.
Yeah.
With a new OC. Oh man.
Yeah, I hope
AJ's back, dude. AJ's going nowhere. AJ's back. That's my opinion.
They don't have to trade him. He would have to, do something to really make the Eagles force their hand to trade him. Not show up to training camp, do all that. Like it would have to turn into that because they could just hold on to him. They really don't have to trade him. They could just hold on. How be like, I'm not trading you. I mean, he really could do that.
I mean, he signed through what?
Turn into push-ups and sit-ups in the driveway, that kind of thing.
Oh, please don't invoke that. Oh, my God.
His contract.
I had to. Come on. We lived through it.
28 or 29?
Yeah. They have him for a couple more years, so they don't have to trade him. They don't have to do it. So I'm very curious to see how this shakes out because he was very complimentary to Philadelphia. It felt like, all right, things cooled off a little bit. I love Philadelphia, blah, blah, blah. I like Kevin, but it was not the role for him. That's the way I took his comments on a couple of those player podcasts. I know there's one with Gronk and Edelman that I don't think has dropped yet that they promoted. So we'll see. We'll see what else he has to say.
The last couple of years, the guy's bringing a book on the sideline. And last year, he's acting like a 5-year-old pouting because he wasn't getting the goddamn ball enough. So you could say everything you want on Micah Parsons' podcast, but you're acting like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, I hate the way he went about it. Going on Twitch, and, like complain, like, dude, come on. I understand his sentiment. I mean, the guy, you should be getting the football. I mean, we all know he should be getting the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go about it like that. Don't air your grievances out like Frank Costanza and George Costanza on Twitch. Just don't do it. All right. Don't air your grievances. Just keep it to yourself. Be professional. We all know you want the ball. We all want you to get the ball. Hopefully, Sean Mannion could come in. Maybe he could buy into it. We'll see.
The way I look at it is that if he's doing it out loud, how much did he do it behind the scenes before he felt like he needed to kind of voice his opinion out loud? That's what I'm worried about. And then if that's the case, then he feels like the team doesn't listen to him.
Well, remember,
that's even worse.
He had
That's
that
more to
Instagram
that.
post after the Super Bowl. He loved the ride. He didn't think that the Super Bowl itself was. It didn't get to it. It didn't feel the way he thought it would. Remember that.
Oh, that's what
crazy.
you play the
He
game.
scored a
for.
damn touchdown in the freaking Super Bowl. I mean, they won. He scored a touchdown. What are you talking about? It doesn't. Oh my.
What are you playing
No.
football for then? Besides, you want your damn stats.
Remember, he said, I'm just saying what he said.
I would live on that forever. I scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl that we won. I would live on that forever.
He loves the ride. He loves dominating his opponent. That's just his perspective. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's just who he is. He's an odd guy. He's an odd guy, to say the least.
Well,
That's true.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
don't get me started.
Well, Nick Earnshaw, thank you so much for jumping on with us. We appreciate you greatly. Coming on with a cold, hanging in the green room while Frank Close is on. We appreciate you very much, brother.
Yeah, Frank's the man. I always could sit back and listen to Frank, get it on a nice Monday night, little mailbag with you guys, talking some Phils. That Castellanos situation, absolutely nuts. But guys, thanks for having me. Glad to share a few stories with you. We'll talk soon, all right?
Thank you so
next-
much. Good to see you.
Maybe next time we could bring you in the whole 97
Absolutely.
same time.
There you
Thanks for
go.
coming on. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Nick. We appreciate you very much,
That's
buddy.
it. Appreciate it, bro.
Have a good
You too.
Nick Earnshaw joining us. So we had Frank Close tonight. We had Nick Earnshaw, and they basically brought us from the start of the show all the way up to finish, boys.
That was awesome. That was a good time. That was a good show.
Look, it's nice when you get guys that are good at this, that know their stuff. It's great. It's great. Fuge, I'm going to be pulling up some video clips of you over the next 12 hours of you hammering AJ Brown, and I'm going to send them to you.
All right.
Before I package them up and send them to our buddy Nick Earnshaw over there. I promise you he's going to wake up tomorrow morning cracking up because he's going to be like these knuckleheads on this podcast. This guy really sent me videos of Fuji saying whatever the hell. So,
well, I mean, hey, the rumor is he went to Howie 3 times during the season. Trade me. Like, I mean, hey, you got suitors, Buffalo, New England.
The whole league would be a suitor for him.
Yeah, the whole league would take AJ Brown.
The whole league.
I don't know about the whole league, but
I don't know many teams that if they had the resources.
Yeah, you got the money, you take them. I would.
Yeah, but that's where it boils down to. Between pre-June 1, post-June 1, and the dead cap.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of money the difference in money. Yeah,
and what are the Eagles going to get in return, and who are they going to replace them with?
It's true.
Think
about it. I don't think you're going to get. You're not going to get. Dollar for dollar. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't.
And the likelihood of getting another Devontae Smith out of the draft is a toss in the air.
Good luck. Well, look. They brought us right to the end of the show. Hold on, Robish Report checking in before we got out of here. Thought Fuji would never put the brown pom-poms down. Well, look, that's going to do it for us here tonight. For Alan Andrukavich, for Mike Fuji, I'm Tom Kelly. This is Pattison Ave Phanatics Show, and we're out of here.
Go.
Lights explode, Philly skies bruise the night. TK shout, echoes heavy, sharp as a fight. Alan steady with the facts, sharp and true. Fuji's fire breaks the calm, splits it in two. Pattison Ave, where the wild hearts run. Talking sports, games, battles, lost and won. Voices rise, break chains, ignite the flame. Fanatic thunder.